Pompeii became a city frozen in the act of living. That is why its silence still feels personal. Pompeii reminds us that history is not only kings and wars. On the last morning of Pompeii, the city did not know it was living its final hours. Shops opened, fountains flowed, and footsteps echoed through stone streets. To the people of Pompeii, Mount Vesuvius was just part of the horizon. It looked silent, ancient, and almost harmless. But beneath that mountain, pressure had been building for years. The city above it carried on with ordinary life. Bakers prepared bread before the heat of the day. Merchants arranged fruit, wine, oil, and pottery. Families moved through courtyards filled with sunlight. Nobody imagined that by night, the sky itself would turn against them. Pompeii was not a forgotten village. It was a living Roman city near the Bay of Naples. Its streets held voices, business, gossip, prayers, and ambition. Wealthy homes stood beside small workshops. Public baths, temples, taverns, and markets gave the city rhythm. Life here was human, imperfect, loud, and familiar. That is what makes Pompeii so haunting today. It was not destroyed in myth. It was destroyed in the middle of normal life. Then, around midday, the mountain changed. A dark column rose into the sky. It climbed higher and higher, like a black tree above the world. People stopped in the streets and looked upward. Some were curious. Some were afraid. Soon, ash and pumice began to fall. At first, it may have seemed strange rather than final. But the falling stones grew heavier. Roofs began to groan under the weight. Streets that once carried trade began to fill with volcanic dust. Daylight began to disappear. Imagine standing in your own city as noon becomes night. The familiar world would suddenly feel foreign. Parents search for children. Servants carried bundles through choking air. The rich and poor faced the same dark sky. Some tried to flee toward the gates. Others stayed inside, hoping the storm would pass. That choice became one of the cruelest parts of the tragedy. Outside, every breath became harder. Inside, every roof became more dangerous. Pompeii was being buried while it was still alive. Hours passed, and the mountain did not stop. The streets grew deeper with ash and stone. Doors became harder to open. Courtyards disappeared under gray silence. The city's noise turned into coughing, shouting, and prayer. Across the bay, Pliny the Younger watched the disaster unfold. His words would become one of history's most famous eyewitness accounts. He described darkness deeper than ordinary night. For Pompeii, that darkness was not just weather. It was the shadow of the end. By the second phase, the danger changed. The ash cloud began to collapse into deadly surges. These waves of heat and gas moved faster than escape. They swept toward the city with terrifying speed. The people who remained had almost no chance. In homes, in streets, and near gates, life stopped suddenly. The city that had been full of voices became still. No army had conquered it. No enemy had broken its walls. Nature had buried an entire Roman world. For centuries, Pompeii slept beneath the ash. Its street vanished from memory. Its names, homes, and final moments were sealed underground. Then, much later, the city began to return. Archaeologists found streets, paintings, bread ovens, and human spaces